before I start to introduce the other speakers, there's something that bothers me, and I have to talk about it here today. Now, you will notice that we are in Castries Central. You will notice we have the Honorable Sarah Flood Broburn sitting at the end over there. And you know why that is so? I believe in protocol. And if you're having a big meeting like this, because our town hall meetings have become big meetings, you'd like to have the presence of your representative with you. But the disgrace that passes as a representative today, it can be in my midst. So, we have the former representative who represents decency and honor in the house here with us today. Another round of applause. So, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you would notice that we didn't have a welcome message from Castries North. As I explained, Castries North is in the rebuilding process and will soon be having them on board, full-fledged, full force, without any snakes. Now, let me say this. I want to take this opportunity to call on Prime Minister Philip J. Pierre to come out and denounce the remarks and actions of his housing minister, the minister responsible for housing in his office. We have come to a stage now where we cannot continue to accept those kinds of vile attacks from Richard Frederick on his weekly talk show against citizens of this country whenever anyone dares to speak out or express their opinion. That bully, Richard Frederick, believes that he can intimidate, threaten, and make people cower into submission. I am saying St.Lucia is not a country where rogues run the show. Richard Frederick must understand that we have standards in this country, and as a minister of government, a member of cabinet, a member of parliament, that is unbecoming of him, that kind of behavior, to be attacking citizens of this country the way that he does every week. And I understand the last victims were Barbara Jacob and Richard Peterkin. Now, those are upstanding citizens of this country who have made their contributions. But it is not just those people, and it got prominence because of who they are, but it happens to ordinary citizens on a weekly basis, where Richard Frederick comes on his program and points at people and calls out people's names and think that he can abuse people, accuse people, and intimidate people. That must stop. And so I'm calling on the Prime Minister to show that he himself is a man of honor. And nothing short of an outright, resolute denouncing of Richard Frederick's action will be acceptable. Philip Pierre, you must let St. Lucians know where you stand on that issue, because that is totally unacceptable. And so I await your reaction. I've called on you to do a number of things that would have been in your own interest, because today you would not have been seen as the idiot that you are if you had taken my advice and resigned from a couple of your portfolios. But this time, on this occasion, you cannot duck your responsibility. It will reflect on you, Prime Minister, the kind of leader that you are, if you do not let St. Lucians know where you stand on that Richard Frederick issue. And you know, Richard Frederick has a way of launching attacks, left, right, and center, making all kinds of accusations and allegations. And he talked about his archives. But very soon, I will visit that archive. And things that are in the archives that Richard Frederick is not bringing out, that he should bring out, I will bring it out. Because Richard must not be mistaken and think for a moment that every St. Lucian is afraid of him. Okay? You have been accused, sir, of all sorts and manner of illegal activities. But that does not make you a god in this country. If anything, it makes you a devil. And I am not a St. Lucian who will cower or bow or be submissive to anyone who believes that they could threaten or intimidate me. Now, he has attacked me. I made some comments about the Prime Minister. As a citizen of St. Lucia, it is my right to criticize, to scrutinize, and to talk about any public figure in this country. But it was Richard Frederick who took objection and went on his talk show, Spider Montoute, and whatever. But you see, I've never done a live yet, but I will do my live too. I will do my live too. And one of them will be dedicated to Richard Frederick. And while we're at it, let me call on the Prime Minister again to look at the behavior of his ministers and the way they abuse the power and authority that they have given their position in Parliament. Because Richard Frederick came on television with receipts, okay, of bail that I posted for 2 individuals. Those of you who do not know, let me inform you. The only people who are supposed to have access to that document is the court and I, Lenard Spider Montoute, who paid for it. It says something about the kind of country that we're running when public servants will yield to that kind of request from a minister of government, and what kind of government we have when ministers of government will not just do it, but publicly make it known that he has done something like that. I'm saying that is shameful, that is unacceptable, and that is demeaning to the office that Richard Frederick holds. And the Prime Minister should say something about it. And by the way, he tried to suggest that I had done something wrong by posting bail. In St. Lucia, let me remind you, a man or woman is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Okay? And the people in question had their day in court. Okay? And they have not been proven guilty. That does not make me a criminal. There were workers on my farm, and so I needed them on my farm, so I bailed them. Now, so he came, went to his archives, and he pulled out documents. But what about the document where he was convicted in a court and made to pay over $39,000 for pulling a gun and firing bullets at individuals, okay? Putting a hole through the water tank. I have no criminal record. I have been to court twice as a witness. Can he say the same? I want to say to Richard Frederick that I have been accused of a lot of things and guilty of some of them, but I commit sins, not crimes. Can he say the same? Can he say the same? I wonder if he can say the same. Yeah. And in my youth, I was a runner, and I have run a few things in St. Lucia, including elections. Let your imagination wander. But I run no drug cartel. I run no money laundering operation. Okay? The things that you are involved with or have been accused of being involved with, I have never been accused of that. So, when you're pointing fingers and talking about in your archive, I come in for them, and so on. He made a threat at me, and I will take it seriously. Okay? And I will say to Richard, you attack me, I will respond in kind. Because you're not the only bad man in town. For that matter, you're no bad man. You're a little boy with a big mouth. And there was a time when Richard Frederick came out, big bad bully, and they call him the pit bull. Today, he has been reduced to a mongrel. And so all the noise you hear, I don't know about you, I come from a place in Grosy they call La Wimawi Terres. We have the most stray dogs there. If you want to hear noise, listen to mongrels. So all the noise you hear in there, that's what mongrels do. And before I move on, I want you to know, there are special breeds of mongrels. There's a breed of mongrel called a Pampa Terrier. Those mongrels engage in tearing dirty pampers apart. And I want to say to Richard Frederick the mongrel, as a pamper terrier, take your nose out of Philip Pierre's pampers. Richard want to be vile. Richard want to launch attacks. Wrong number. I am no longer a public figure. I am no longer a public figure, so I will take you on publicly.